Okay, today we're playing a game on Hanamura. We are in the Platinum SR range, and we will be playing Reinhardt the entire way through. And our current team composition is Reinhardt, Roadhog, Hanzo, Soldier 76, Anna, and Mercy. So things to be sad about, we have no Zarya with which to combo Hanzo, and we have no Zenyatta. We also have two main healers, which is a little awkward just in general to have two main healers, because then you don't have one of the off healers, which typically makes it easier for you to kill the enemy team. And they have the defensive ultimates like Transcendence and Sound Barrier. And Rally, technically, I guess, if you want to consider that the defensive ultimate. Just not having an off-healer is awkward, but not having a Zenyatta is the truly sad part about it all. So anyway, let's start the game. So we must attack Hanamura first, a very fun activity. I'm in the wrong place. Can't be over here, because that's where the shield health is. So, we've got to attack Hanamura, which is difficult enough at the best of times, but then Hanzo killed our soldier as well. Did get rezzed, so that's cool, you know. Now we've lost a bunch of shield, we got to wait for it to recharge, use Fire Strike while we're waiting. We are communicating that we're going to go in hard and fast when our shield is up. That is the idea. And then we go in, swinging our sword, swinging our axe, hammer, whatever, and unfortunately, we get promptly murdered immediately. So, now we would have to react to this really quickly, but this is just a general thing with Reinhardt, right? If the enemy Reinhardt is really close to you and starts using Fire Strike, that's the time to charge him, because he can't possibly countercharge you while he's locked into the Fire Strike animation. So if you're playing Reinhardt, just try not to use Fire Strike next to the enemy Reinhardt for that reason. But also if you see the enemy Reinhardt start using Earth Shatter, that's usually the time to try and pin him, because he can't possibly countercharge you. And don't do that if it's going to take you into the enemy team where you will promptly be murdered. This should go without saying, but I'll say it just in case. Don't perform a bad charge just to punish him for using Fire Strike right next to you. Still adhere to the usual rules of the charge, that you want it to be as short as possible and not take you into the entire enemy team. So we died. We got to go over here now and try and get some momentum going again. So we see that they have basically the same team, but better, because they have the Zarya and the Zenyatta. Very sad. This Overwatch is a very deep game. Counter-picking is a very complicated procedure, especially when most games are just a mirror match. Also, I guess I didn't say it earlier, given when we died, but just go through the door holding your shield up, because when the enemy team's got a Hanzo, it's quite easy to suddenly die just in general. So, now, we've got Nano Boost on us, so we really want to go in, but we end up just kind of charging straight through them and not really accomplishing anything. Right now, we're really close to having Earth Shatter built up, and then we build it up off the Fire Strike. We don't need a charge. We can just build up the Earth Shatter, and then look at how nicely laid out this Earth Shatter is for us. We got 3 people over here, a billion miles away from Reinhardt's shield. So we just build up the Earth Shatter off this Fire Strike right here, turn slightly to the left, Earth Shatter. Might end up missing Mercy because of where the rock is. But if she uses Valkyrie regardless, so it wouldn't even matter. We do also have Discord Orb on us, so even though we've got Nano Boost on us, Discord Orb kind of takes most of the damage resistance off of that anyway, so we end up getting killed pretty quickly. But we just didn't need to charge. We could have just waited, build up the Fire Strike, and then build up the Earth Shatter, and then ult everybody, and then go in and swinging at them. So there, Reinhardt, he's got Earth Shatter by this point as well. So we've got to be ready for that one. Just in general, if you have yours and you didn't see him use his, he probably also has his. Because the way Reinhardt is, most of Earth Shatter gets built up just trading Fire Strikes back and forth with the other Reinhardt, so they tend to get the first one pretty close to each other, unless something weird happens. So we end up getting baited by Zarya, because she just walks forward, holding her shield up or putting her bubble up, and then that ends up blocking it. Their Reinhardt still dies regardless. Right now, us swinging into these people isn't really accomplishing very much. We could just be blocking for our team and walking forward instead, because they've got Transcendence going right now, so us swinging into them isn't doing very much. It's getting us some ult charge, sure enough, but we should just be blocking for our team at that point, seeing as us doing damage isn't really contributing very much at that point. Ends up not mattering regardless, we just kind of run over them anyway, even though they had several ultimates to use, because they lost their main tank right at the start of the fight. Because he kind of overextended, then got killed by the dragon, and then it was all over from that point on. Hooray. We captured the checkpoint. Now we have to attack the second checkpoint, which is harder than attacking the first checkpoint. And the first checkpoint's hard enough to attack on Hanamura. It's a wonderful reward, isn't it? All the 2CP maps are like this, honestly. You have the joy of capturing the first checkpoint, which is pretty difficult to capture in general, and then your reward for scaling the mountain is then to be faced with an even bigger mountain immediately afterwards. It's wonderful. Everybody loves 2CP. And then sometimes you can scale that mountain, but then, as you're about to reach the summit, literally feet away, a fucking gremlin just runs out and just pushes you all the way back down the mountain. In this analogy, that's when they changed to Mei, and Diva, and Tracer, and Lucio, and you won the fight. You captured the checkpoint. But guess what? They stalled that out for another 3 fucking minutes anyway, and you either didn't capture it, or if you did, you captured it in overtime. Because 2CP is just that way. I'm not salty, you're salty. So we've almost got Earth Shatter built up again. So their team is kind of weirdly spread out right now, because Reinhardt's over there, not really accomplishing very much, so we can just start walking up this way, and then just kind of run right over them. So I would just charge down here regardless, because we know that their Reinhardt jumped down off of the balcony, so he's going to take a while to get over there. We can just charge straight down here and probably pin one of those people, because it's a narrow tunnel, and they haven't gotten to the end of it yet. Do not jump off of high ground using Earth Shatter, because that just gives the enemy team more time to react to Earth Shatter. Most heroes can already react to Earth Shatter anyway, because the wind-up is that long. So by jumping, you only give them even more time to react to something that is already reactable. Fair enough attempt to the pin. Unfortunately, we don't end up actually pinning him. Sad times. Their Mercy is using Valkyrie now, so that's going to be annoying. We can't countercharge this because our charge is on cooldown, but we can just duck right back into that cubby as soon as we see him start the animation. We end up not dying to him, but we do die shortly thereafter as a result of getting pinned. And as we can see, the fight is still going really well without us. So it doesn't matter in the end anyway. Could have been the thing that lost us the fight, then we pin him as he's coming back out again. He hasn't even gotten to use his Earth Shatter, because life is just so tragic for him, really. Don't think he did anyway. He might have done and I just missed it, but I'm pretty sure he's just gotten fucked. Yeah, there it was. Yeah, he just kind of got fucked a lot of times in a row, and never really got to use his Earth Shatter super well. Even that one didn't actually hit anybody. Tragic. So they managed to catch us with some ultimates, Graviton, Dragon Strike. Sad days. Not much you can do about that one as Reinhardt, really. That's the kind of fight where if you have a Zenyatta, maybe it goes better. It's because it was the Graviton that ended up really killing our momentum. So we've got Earth Shatter built up. There, Reinhardt just used his, so he's at like 0 by the time we start. Well, by the time we start this, he's going to be at like 20%, but he's not going to have it anytime soon. So we're at the advantage right now. We've still got quite a while to go. We still got 3 minutes left on the timer. Now they have a Winston. Don't do that. If you're trying to Earth Shatter when there's a Winston there, just wait for him to use the bubble, because even Winston can actually react. He does have to react pretty quickly, but even a Winston can react to Earth Shatter and bubble you. Especially if he's also kind of anticipating you. So if you're going to Earth Shatter around a Winston, just wait for him to use the bubble, because it's just not worth the risk. I've gotten fucked by the bubbles so many times. It's just not worth the risk. So we charge straight down here this time. It's funny we went for that one, which is a lot worse of a charge down there. When before we had two squishy people running down it and didn't go for it. Anyway. So, Soldier just killed a bunch of people with TAC Visor. They actually don't even have a Reinhardt anymore. Here comes the dragon. Hooray. Captured the checkpoint. We didn't even really have to do anything. Sick. That's the best feeling in the world, really, when you don't have to do anything to actually still capture the checkpoint. This is why when people go, oh, you got carried. Good. That means I didn't actually have to do anything to win. In fact, I might have not deserved to win, but I did anyway because I got carried. Seems we're making some dick jokes in chat, as one does, especially on the internet. Come out here to Earth Shatter at them. That'd be pretty scary to do within the first 10 seconds. Come out here to Fire Strike at them right at the start. Yep, get out of the way. Reinhardt thing in general, try to get out of the way of the other Reinhardts there at Fire Strike. But, even if you can't get out of the way, at least take the shield down. Because it still does 100 damage to your shield, which is 5% of it. So even if you're still going to get hit, just take the shield down for half a second, just to not take the Fire Strike damage. It can end up mattering. So, they have a Doomfist, which is very annoying to us as Reinhardt. It also ends up meaning we have to quite frequently countercharge Doomfist, which means we can't countercharge Reinhardt, or vice versa. Doomfist makes things very difficult for Reinhardt, partly just because he in general makes life difficult for tanks, but in Reinhardt particular. Because if he's charging up his fist in front of you, you kind of have an obligation to countercharge that as well, but then if they also have a Reinhardt, it gets difficult. I don't like playing against Doomfist as Reinhardt, particularly. Partly, he also just punches you around a lot, like this, right? It's just not an enjoyable experience to play against Doomfist. In general, even if you're not a tank, like, tanks get fucked by Doomfist. But you know what's also not fun is playing a squishy target against Doomfist, because Doomfist just comes out, comboed, shot up in the air, and then murdered. And there wasn't a lot you could do about it, really, unless you had movement abilities. Even then, might not actually save you. Like, if you're playing, like, Ana, and a Doomfist jumps on you, you better trank him, or he's gonna kill you, and there's nothing you can do about that one, really. There's not much people can really do to save you, because Doomfist, unless they have hard crowd control, because Doomfist himself is rather hard to kill. He's a very annoying hero. I dislike how popular he is. Just because, basically, I'm bad and don't like playing against him. There you go. So, that all went fantastically well. We've now got Earthshatter built up. There, Reinhardt's probably, he's gonna have his, yeah, because he charged us at one point, so he's definitely got his by now. Staggered Ana and Mercy, hold on.
Should get a new one. There's a pink one upstairs, maybe you should go into
Oh, a pink one.
Yeah, pink. Curly.
Oh, and curly.
It's pink and it's got ringlets.
The cat can't see what's going on.
Have you seen those wigs you can buy for cats?
Those what?
Wigs you can buy for cats.
I have not.
We should get a cat a wig.
I'll Google cat wig right now.
And then he can sit next to you doing it.
Gonna have to do video editing. Oh, jeez. Oh, good heavens. Oh. You don't understand how labor intensive it is to go. Click, split, delete, squish together. You don't understand how labor intensive that is. It takes me a good hour every time. Mostly just because I'm procrastinating, but what have you. Whatever. So I don't remember what was happening, but we've got Earthshatter, so that's cool. Now, wouldn't a more professional man go back a little bit and watch some of the video to remember what was going on? Yes, but I don't want to paint the wrong image of who I am as a person. Professional ain't me. So they start pushing in, because the dragon's behind them, or Reinhardt does anyway. The rest of his team didn't really get the memo, and we can just Earthshatter right across them. Tried to pin the Zarya, unfortunately didn't do it. It was a difficult angle to try and pin her from. Might as well try, seeing as there's basically no way we get punished for it. Now we're going too far out, though, because they're going to start regrouping soon. Oh, no. Our team actually, like, Diva anyway, kind of huddles around us to protect us, but, like, oh, they wanted it so bad. They're like, fuck, look at him. Look at him. Reinhardt's fucking jumping with joy. Like, oh, I can't wait to pin this other Reinhardt. Doomfist sitting in the alleyway just waiting. But fortunately, we managed to get away with our lives, which is nothing short of miraculous, honestly. By that point, their team was going to start regrouping. We should not have still been out that far by that point. So, did he just Earthshatter under us? What's that? No, he didn't. He started charging. Okay. I don't know why I thought he did. I just thought he earth shattered for some reason right there. So, we're too far up, really, right now, and then we end up getting kind of, like, bumped out into them, and then, oh god, oof. Try to pin Doomfist, but he uses Meteor Strike. Ends up being unfortunate, because then we can't use it to pin Reinhardt while self-destruct is happening. Pinning Doomfist in general is rather difficult, just because of how many ways he can kind of get away with it. Oh, I'm backing up to see, like, how low we were, like, when this started. Pretty low, it's pretty scary. That's all pretty scary. I hate Doomfist. Oh, I hate Doomfist so much. I just get punched up into the air all over the place. Oh, blah, blah, blah. So how did this actually happen? I'm sort of not sure how we ended up losing this team fight, really. Let's go back and watch that again. Oh, yeah, here we go again. Managed to scamper away with that. So we did just sort of lose very suddenly. So, Reinhardt charges under us, and that's really bad, obviously. Our supports kind of have to invest a lot of effort into keeping us alive. Doomfist kills Anna behind us. Then Doomfist just kind of bullies us around, basically. Yeah, that's going to be a difficult one to get away with. You know, sometimes I look at a team fight and I'm like, yeah, we just kind of lost that one. But I feel like there must have been a solution in here somewhere. Because this wasn't like a catastrophic loss or anything. I think it was basically we're slightly too far up right here. I do mean just like slightly too far up right here. So we end up getting like punched into them by Doomfist. Because then we can't stop Reinhardt going in like that. Doomfist probably charged up a bunch of VoD charge off of us right there. And they just end up kind of like getting through the choke point as a result of all that. I think we do lose that one regardless. Because if I rewind it, no, they had Graviton. We definitely lose that one regardless. It's just like, it's very odd. I don't know why. That team fight was just really odd to me. Because it didn't feel like it was going that badly, and then we just sort of suddenly lost. I was like, why is that? Basically just because Doomfist is annoying, seems to have been about the gist of it. It was a rare team fight where I just kind of look at it and I'm like, I feel like there must have been a solution to this one, but I just don't know what it was. Anyway, regardless, so we've almost got Earth Shatter built up again. I don't think that Reinhardt use Earth Shatter, so they're just going in straight through the front door, so we have to jump down to meet them. Oh, you're shattered right there. That's not supposed to work that way. A very weird Earth Shatter thing happened right here, because we knock him. He Earth Shatters in the air, but it actually still hits us in the air. Did he Earth Shatter off our skull? He might have done, honestly, the way that looked like it went. This happens all the... I guess maybe it's because it didn't get knocked quite high enough in the air. Because this happens all the fucking time now, where if you get bumped when you use Earth Shatter, if you get bumped into the air when you use Earth Shatter, it just goes in the air and doesn't do anything. But I guess we were still kind of low to the ground. Or he did it on top of our skull. Either way, Reinhardt's a very consistent hero, completely free of bugs, no issues here at all. No, sir. Working as intended. On the PTR... Presently, I don't know if they fixed this, but I know they hadn't fixed it. They might have fixed it by now. At time of speaking, the you can't animation cancel putting the shield up anymore. So like the classic Reinhardt maneuver is swing as soon as it makes contact, put the shield up. Apparently that doesn't work on the PTR right now, unless they fixed that since I last checked. They might have done, but last I heard that was still happening. So we do try and pin the Reinhardt right here because he got nano boosted, which is a fair enough response, but is also worth pointing out that he probably has Earth Shatter. And he in fact does. So when the enemy Reinhardt gets nano boosted, they're gonna like take any opportunity they see to try and Earth Shatter you. If we did just pin him, that would have been fair enough and we end up missing it, but just worth bearing in mind, if they have Earth Shatter and they get nano boosted, they're gonna use it. At even, like, the slightest opportunity. Like, if you see him get nano boosted, you just run up and, like, do the smack, put shield up. That's almost certain to get the Earth Shatter out of him, because when they get nano boosted, they'll take anything, basically. even if you get nano boosted, right? If you get nano boosted and you just walk at them with your shield up, 9 times out of 10 the enemy Reinhardt just earth shatters your shield because he's like, he's gonna take it down right now to charge. I can feel it. I would do it. He's gonna do it right now. And then he just ends up earth shattering your shield like 9 times out of 10. That's an exaggeration. Probably more like 7 out of 10. Either way, when one Reinhardt gets nano boosted, an earth shatter's coming from one or both parties almost immediately. So, coming back out with earth shatter. This is a pretty easy one to line up. We can just wait till the bubble is gone off Zarya and then land it, no problem. If you're feeling particularly brave, you can start using earth shatter slightly earlier. Because if you wait, because it does have a wind up and a bit of a travel time. So if it's about to wear off and you do it, it'll still hit them regardless. Which is sometimes worth doing, because if they walk forward trying to, being like, I can't do anything to me because I got shields on me right now, you can end up earth shattering them before they get back to safety. If you're feeling particularly brave, you can do it a little bit earlier. This is just one of those things where, like, sometimes waiting half a second loses you the opportunity to earth shatter, especially with how fucking finicky the ultimate gets. So, he walks up like this, easy money. As soon as he just comes a little bit too far up, you can pin him right against the wall. Oh no, feels bad. So, you can block the shockwave on Meteor Strike with the shield. Not really feasible to do it onto Merc. So I'm like, I'd rather try and keep Mercy alive in there if at all possible, but it wasn't really feasible to block the shockwave on her from that position. Because you can block the shockwave from Meteor Strike, just so everybody's up to date. I only found that out relatively recently, because of, by a month or two ago, because of how popular Doomfist has gotten lately. Yeah, turns out you can block, you can just block the shockwave with the shield. Because what usually happens is the Reinhardt or Bridget just tries to get out of the way as quickly as possible. But if you're just, not in the epicenter, and you block it, no damage. And it won't hit anybody behind you either, so you can block it for other people as well. That's a braver one to go for, and I'm not a big fan of it, because if you miss, you are dead. It's like, he's got a lot of time to react from that position, and if you miss, you do die. Like, there's no way you don't immediately get pinned in retribution for that one. So that's just not a good one to go for. Even if he didn't have, he was looking at us, so he had, plenty of time to react, because he saw us coming immediately. Even if he didn't, I still wouldn't go for it, just because the penalty if you miss is so steep, because you will 100% die if you miss that pin. And even if you pin him, you don't necessarily kill him from that position. So it's just not worth the risk. Sometimes a lot of playing Reinhardt is just about risk mitigation. It's countercharge Reinhardt right there. Good reactions. Unfortunately, things are going badly. Everybody's in the Graviton. We don't have a Zenyatta. Oh no. Zenyatta's a really good hero because there's just kind of nothing you do about that situation except have a Zenyatta. Of course, there are a lot of things that kill you through Transcendence as well, such as Meteor Strike, but, you know, it's not that Zenyatta is game-winning in and of himself, it's just that he gives you the chance to win team fights that you would otherwise have zero chance of winning. Because there are some things that if they come at you, you have no recourse other than get fucked. Unless you have a Zenyatta. And then even if you have a Zenyatta, you might still die. But if you don't have a Zenyatta, you have close to 0% chance of living. So it's an unfortunate, necessity of the way the game is, where it's just Zenyatta has the strongest defensive ultimate, and some offensive ultimates are so strong that if you don't have Zenyatta, you just end up losing to them. Especially on a 2CP map, where you only have to lose 2 fights, and then you lose the game as the defending team. So it's just, I don't really know what you do about that either, because it's you either buff the other defensive ultimates, or you nerf the offensive ultimates, or you introduce more defensive ultimates, but hero release time isn't exactly super high, and not all of them can have a defensive ultimate. So I don't know what you do about it, really, because I feel, right now, I feel like Zenyatta is close to a mandatory hero. Which kind of sucks, because it makes a lot of the more interesting hero picks just not really feasible. Because it's like, if one of your hero slots, like, you can't have any of the other off healers, right? Like, Zenyatta being so good makes Bridget and Lucio less good by comparison, just because Zenyatta is so much better than them, purely because of his ultimate. Discord is also strong, certainly, but, like, Transcendence is so good that it just kind of, like, pushes the other picks out of the way, because, like, even Sound Barrier, the other defensive ultimate, doesn't compare to Transcendence, really. Like, Sound Barrier is better as an offensive ultimate, honestly, where you go in with it, rather than trying to use it to defend. It's unfortunate. And then, like, Mercy being as good as she is right now forces the other two healers out of the picture, as well. Like, you can still pick Moira, certainly. Anna you can pick, certainly. But it's just like... And, like, you can pick Lucio and you can pick Bridget. It's just like, though, if particularly with the supports, if your supports aren't Mercy Zenyatta, I feel like you do just have a statistically lower percentage chance of winning after that point, because they are so much better than the alternate picks. It's unfortunate. I don't know what you can do about the Zenyatta situation, because it's just kind of like a lot of things come together to make that be the case. But then, like, Mercy, it's just like you nerf Mercy or you bring the other main healers up to match it. But Zenyatta's is a bit of Zenyatta's case is a more nuanced issue, and I don't know what you do about that one. Anyway, we're playing Reinhardt, by the way, if you weren't sure. So, we do see him getting hooked right here. So if you react in time, that's like a free pin as well, because he's not gonna be able to react while he's being hooked as well. So you can try and pin him right there. I had honestly forgotten what his Earth Shatter was up to, but by the same token, if you're not sure what the enemy Reinhardt's Earth Shatter is at, assume he has it. Because the penalty of, if you assume he has it, you play more defensively, certainly, but if you assume he doesn't have it and play too aggressively, you end up getting your team killed. So, I had forgotten what his Earth Shatter was like, so in that position I just kind of hold the shield up, I just play assuming he has Earth Shatter if I'm not sure. So we end up losing the team fight right there. I don't feel like the Earth Shatter getting us was even like the thing that lost us this team fight. Let's go back a little bit more, or like the point more over. So this had, because like, does he even really hit many people behind us? I don't feel like he probably did. He hit Soldier. Then he ends up killing Anna. No. This is the problem, because that killed two people immediately. One of our DPS and one of our healers, and then we end up dying right after. No. The Earth Shatter was pretty bad, actually. Yes. Anytime your team gets Earth Shattered and you're playing Reinhardt, you should take that as being a personal failure. That you didn't block it, because it is your job to block it. I didn't think it was what lost us the team fight, but no, upon reflection, it definitely was, because two people died right behind us as a result of it. Even if it wasn't the Earth Shatter, like us not being there to like countercharge the Reinhardt still led to two people dying, regardless. So, block the Earth Shatter. If you're not sure what the enemy Reinhardt's Earth Shatter is like, just assume he has it. Just because if you play too defensively, you might miss out on opportunities, but you probably won't die. However, if you play too aggressively when he does have Earth Shatter, you lose. So, it's just best assumed he has it. I feel like I was going to say something else, but I've forgotten what it was. Yeah, just assume he has Earth Shatter if you're not sure. So, now, they've only got a minute left, so we can expect them to come in pretty fucking hard on this first push, which is certainly what they're trying to do. They actually have triple tank, because we've got Reinhardt, Zarya, Roadhog coming at us right now. And we're starting to get bullied around pretty hard. So this is kind of a mess of a team fight. So they come at us really hard. Reinhardt's gone behind us, but we're holding the rest of the team over here. Yeah, this is like nightmare situation for Reinhardt, because it's just like a lot of people around us that don't particularly care if we're hitting them. Like, if it's like a bunch of squishy people crowding on us, we can just start swinging and hitting them all. But when a bunch of tanks are crowding around you, there's not a lot you can really do. The best we could have probably done is just charge away faster than that. Like, charge back onto the point to try and get away from that situation. Because if they start, like, gathering up on us like that, we're pretty fucked. But Roadhog just hooked us back anyway when we did charge closer to the point. If you're starting to feel really pressured as Reinhardt, don't be afraid to just, like, charge away from the situation. Because playing defensively, like, it might not be the best thing you can do, but it's unlikely to have catastrophic results. So if you're ever feeling, like, particularly pressured as Reinhardt, if you're feeling pressured in general as Reinhardt, just start backing up, because yeah, you might give up some ground, but if you end up staying when that was the wrong decision, you end up dying. So giving up ground is better than dying. And if you're feeling particularly threatened, you can just charge backwards to try and get to safety. Charge can be an escape as much as an engage. Is it the best escape in the world? No, certainly not. But sometimes that's the best use for it. So now we just start swinging around at them. Their Reinhardt's probably getting pretty close to having Earth Shatter right now. So, yep, that's where you hold it up on it. Like, right in this particular, like, right now, like, you gotta be kind of watching him during this situation. Because, like, the first fight, he probably didn't get a lot of ult charge off of it, but he got some. And now he's swinging into us and D.Va, like, this entire time. So he's building up, like, 10% every swing. So you've got to be ready to just, like, put it up, because as soon as he goes back like that, he's gonna use it. When he's in like this situation, he probably isn't, because the Earth Shatter is probably only gonna hit one of us from this position. But as soon as he gets bonked like that, this is where you hold the shield up, because now he's in the perfect situation to Earth Shatter a bunch of people. And then he ends up cancelling Coalescence behind us, which is also really sad, and then Self-Destruct ends up causing us some bad times as well. It's unfortunate. Blocking the Earth Shatter here would have probably made this team fight go differently. And the last team fight on the first defense as well. And now we aren't there to use our Earth Shatter. We're coming back out. We do get to use it now. It only ends up hitting D.Va because we were trying to hit the people on the bridge, but it didn't end up actually connecting with them. Fair enough attempt, but unfortunately it didn't connect. And now blocking Whole Hog as best we can. Not much point to blocking right now, because we can't really block any of what's coming at us. So we could just go up and start swinging instead, because we can't block Reinhardt, we can't block Coalescence. We could block Baby D.Va, who is shooting into us, but better off just taking the shield down, and if nothing else, letting it recharge, seeing as we couldn't block what was happening at the time. But we end up managing to defend the checkpoint. They caught the first 2 ticks, but we end up fending them off in the end. As you can see, there's not a lot of time left on this video, so do we get wrecked or do we wreck them? Those are the only options left. So far the issue has been, like, we've lost the second checkpoint twice now because we didn't block an Earth Shatter, basically. I mean, we might have still lost it regardless. There's no guarantee, right? But not blocking the Earth Shatter certainly didn't help matters. And anytime your team gets Earth Shattered in general, even if it ends up not mattering, even if your team gets Earth Shattered and nobody dies as a result of it, you should still take the fact that he got the Earth Shatter through as a failure that you need to try and avoid in the future. So we've got a very similar setup to them right now, and we're going to attempt to go in as hard as possible. Hanzo's up there, plinking away at us, and did we see him up there? I confess to not have been looking either. Yeah, we saw him up there, very, very briefly. By the time we react to it, we're basically already dead, because he got 2 arrows into us while we were discorded, so we're basically already dead from that point. The only way you avoid that one is just by knowing that Hanzo is up there sooner, because it's kind of one of those things where, like, Hanzo is often the most worthwhile target to block, even if blocking the old... You can block like 3 people or Hanzo. Blocking Hanzo still ends up being the correct decision a lot of the time. That's just how Hanzo is right now. One day we'll fight. One day they'll nerf Storm Arrow enough times. One day. So, anyway, fight's still going well. It's still going well in our absence. We're running down the Mercy right now. There's no need for us to run after the Mercy. We can just stay on the objective. Ah, tragic. Yeah, might as well. We're not going to get to pin her at that point. Well, we do end up waking her up slightly earlier. Like, you don't want to wake up the sleeping target early if you can't kill the person. Because even if you can't kill them, just like leaving them asleep on the ground is 6 seconds. They aren't contributing to the team fight. But either way, we still capture the checkpoint regardless. So, all's well. That ends well. We got half our Shadow built up there, Reinhardt. He's going to be further ahead of us. They have a Reinhardt, right? I don't think I actually saw him. Yeah, they have one. He's probably slightly further ahead, because he was alive in the team fight for slightly longer than it. Well, a lot longer than us, because we died pretty close to the start. So, he's going to be closer than us. He probably doesn't have it yet, but he's going to be really close. Like, he'll have it as soon as the team fight fully starts, in all likelihood. Either way, it's within margin of error enough that we should assume he has it regardless. So, Lucio's just used Earth Shadow. Lucio just used Earth Shadow. That'd be scary. Lucio's just used Sound Barrier. So we want to try and push in as ahead of with that. So Reaper is behind us during this. So he pushes that dude off. That's great. We can see from Mercy's tether that somebody is in fact behind us right now. And then within the first shot, I already know it's Reaper. So we have to turn around and immediately start blocking the Reaper. Because if we don't block Reaper, especially while we have Discord Orb on us, we die right here. So we just have to immediately, like, as soon as we can reasonably tell, well, I mean, we know somebody's behind us, but as soon as we know it's Reaper, he's the highest priority. We gotta block him, because if we don't block him, we die. And nobody else super threatening was up there to block, so we could have just blocked the Reaper without any real issue of it. So we've got Earth Shadow built up right now. Where's our team? 3 people up there, 1 on the left. 1 person is coming back. So, we're pushing in without our team right now, which is not, well, I mean, our team are nearby, but we're pushing in by ourselves, which is not great for Reinhardt. You don't want to be pushing him by yourself as Reinhardt. And, oh no. Oh, no. Don't, like, try to avoid using Earth Shadow around this kind of geometry in general. Just because it's so finicky, where, like, just 1 pixel too far to the left or too far to the right against an angle like that results in your Earth Shadow getting completely blocked. So just don't even try, like, if you're near a corner or a doorway, don't use Earth Shatter near it, because the hitbox on it is so particular that just being 1 pixel too far in one direction can result in it being completely devoured by the corner. And then we don't block the Earth Shatter afterwards, which is obviously bad as well. I think we've beat that drum enough by this point to not have to go over it at an agonizing length. So instead, I will take a sip while we regroup. So we have very little in the way of ultimates right now. We've got a little bit of time left to do some poking and prodding. Don't do this. Do not do this, because this isn't going to work. I know in the email it did say we were getting tilted by this point. It seems like a tilt maneuver, and like we made matters so much worse by doing this, because now our team is going to have to start pushing in before we're back to get to the objective. Whereas we could have just seen the graviton was happening, disengaged from the entire thing, and waited for our team to regroup again, because we still had time from that position. Fortunately, our team actually hasn't started pushing in yet. They will do, usually in that situation, because once it gets down to like 15 seconds, that's when people start like suicide rushing in, even though you can usually wait longer than that. So he doesn't have his right now. However, Reaper just dropped down behind us and span on 2 people. They dead. Now he has it. His went off before ours. We're upset about it, understandably so. It would not have worked regardless by that point. Even if it landed, it would have only hit 1 dude, I think, maybe 2. So we already lost people by that point. It was basically a done deal. Tragically, life is difficult sometimes like that. Well, shocking. Hanzo got the play of the game. Mercy flew into it. That sucks. So, things that stand out the most in this game is definitely just that we didn't block Earth Shatter enough. Did we block Earth Shatter? Yeah, we blocked that one. We didn't block many Earth Shatter. We let way too many slip by us in one game. Which ended up, like, it's definitely, like, not unimaginable we won this game if we blocked some of those Earth Shatters that got past. So, block Earth Shatter, most important thing. Like, try and keep track of the enemy Earth Shatter as much as possible, just because if you know roughly what he's at percentage-wise, obviously you can't know exactly, but you can estimate, especially once you get more used to, like, tracking it, you can estimate relatively closely how much charge he's got up, and then you can play aggressively based around that. But bare minimum, if you just, like, you have yours and you haven't seen him use his, he probably has his. If you haven't seen him use his in the last, like, 30, 45 seconds, he's probably getting close to having it, because it does charge up very quickly. So you can just kind of assume he has it blanketly, and that'll often end up being correct. But if you keep track of it more closely, you can... Because if you come into the fight knowing that he still is only like halfway towards building his, that lets you play a lot more aggressively right at the start of the fight. Because if you know he doesn't have his, you can just kind of like rush up to him and push into him really aggressively, knowing that he can't do that much to retaliate because he doesn't have his ultimate yet. So you can just kind of like brute force through him and just put your shatter down. Whereas if you only, like, blanketly assume he has his, then you'll end up playing more defensively when you could have actually just rushed straight up to him with your ultimate and pushed it through. So try and get used to tracking the enemy Earth Shatter as closely as possible. And, yeah, block the enemy Earth Shatter is the big deal. It's like, even if you can play aggressively, if he has Earth Shatter, just bear in mind he has it, and you have to play around the fact he has Earth Shatter, because if you don't play around the fact he has Earth Shatter, the penalty is so extremely steep that you'll end up losing the game if you guess wrong. So, even if you want to play aggressively, just be tempered in your approach when you think he has Earth Shatter, because if you don't, it's all over. So thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to... Oh wait, let me just check the email real quick, which was back here. I don't think was the Roadhog right to say what he said to me? I don't know what the Roadhog said to you. There's no terrible... Oh, by the way, yeah, Pepsi. Silver Blue Pepsi Man, Zentai suit. I'm gonna buy one of them. Just Pepsi Man. I don't know what the Roadhog said to you. And this is a 26-minute video. It's probably close to the end. Let me know what the Roadhog said to you. I mean, it sort of implies the Roadhog was kind of an asshole in how he approached it. Let me know what the Roadhog said to you, because I'm not sure what the Roadhog said to you. Either way, so, thank you very much for watching if you did. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm more than happy to answer. If you haven't already, you can join our Discord and ask questions more directly and have a conversation about them, or just shitpost with us, and I hope you found the video helpful.